Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. It's percolating. Good morning. Yeah. Good morning to the people on Facebook. Good morning to the people on IG. Good morning to the people on the YouTube. Good morning to the people on LinkedIn and Twitter too. Java. Percolating. Get a vibe, stay ready. Truth in the cup, keep it strong, keep it steady. Pull up a chair, yeah. Take a sip with me. Good morning, good people. Java with Jimmy. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, the love percolating. Love percolating. Java with Jimmy. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good morning. Yeah, the love percolating. Yeah, Java with Jimmy. Good morning. Percolating. Yeah, we in it. Yeah, we in it. Good morning. Good morning. Java with Jimmy. Percolating. Yeah, we in it. Yeah, we in it. Good morning. Good morning. Java with Jimmy.
Good morning. Welcome to the Java Cafe, Java Fan.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Today is Thursday. No, shoot. Today is Wednesday, April 1st, 2026. And I don't know what it is with me and the date these last couple of weeks, but I thought it was Thursday. I have the actual date right. It is Wednesday, April 1st, 2026. And it is We Need to Know Wednesday. We need to know that there are resources and services available for home modernization in the vein of, we don't talk about it a lot here, but we do name it around climate justice, environmental justice, climate change, and things like that. And, you know, the weather's interesting right now. It's going to be, I think they said 71 today, and it's raining, and it's, you know, April 1st. So in that vein, people are paying attention to energy bills and things like that. And so we have two great young women with us. They both are named Elizabeth, but for today, one is going to be Liz and one is going to be Elizabeth, because you all know me. But no, I'm excited to have two young women from a space of home modernization. And one is from Abode Energy, and also the Mass Climate Energy Center. I think I got that right. And I have the notes right here, but I always try to just go from memory. But without further ado, I would like to bring, let me get this right, Elizabeth and Liz into the Java Cafe. And welcome to both of you this morning. Folks, do me a favor. If you know anyone that is currently looking to upgrade their home or make it more environmentally friendly, and also maybe want to save some funds, please go ahead and hit that like and share button and invite them into the Java Cafe so they can be part of this conversation. And so Elizabeth, just so you all know, Elizabeth is to the upper right of your screen, and Liz is at the bottom, but they both are Elizabeth. But Liz, like me today, she's going by Liz, like I go by Jimmy sometimes. So again, do me a favor and share this, because folks are used to the 10 o'clock hour. And so we want to make sure that folks do come in. But if there is someone that you would like to share this information with, you know that our shows are evergreen, so you can share that with them. And so let's start with Elizabeth. You could say good morning, greet the audience, and also if you could give me one word, or like the status of your work. Where are things? There's so much going on. I'm sure home modernization is influenced by, tariffs and supply. How are things how, how are things going in the space of what you're trying to bring to community? Good morning.
Good morning. Well, first off, thank you very much for having me on your show. I'm grateful for that opportunity. So I am Elizabeth, and I work at the Massachusetts Clean Energy Center. We're a quasi-state agency focused on clean energy and climate tech in Massachusetts. And to your question about one word, oh, that is a very challenging question. I think progress. I would maybe say. I think we are doing a lot in this space around energy justice, environmental justice, ensuring that people have access to the benefits of clean energy and the clean energy transition in this state, but we absolutely still have a long way to go. So I want to, give our collective selves credit where credit is due, but not get too far ahead of ourselves, knowing that there's still good work that needs to happen.
Thank you for that transparency and authenticity. You could see where you were like naming and it's important to name the progress, but always, in spaces like this, there's always room for improvement. And so we're going to find out how we can help improve folks' homes as well. And Elizabeth works with the Mass Climate Energy Center. Did I get it right?
Clean Energy Center.
Clean Energy Center, and a lot of their work is in the state of Massachusetts. Liz is getting ready to greet you as well, and later on we're going to talk about some affiliation that she has for those of you that may want services right here in the. You all know how Bostonians are, right here in the Boston area. So, Liz, please greet the audience, and let me see if I can get a different question for you.
I was so ready with the first one.
So go ahead and answer the first one as well, but please greet the audience, say hello, and give us your word and some context as well. And then we're going to get into the conversation about the work that both of you do.
Sure. Yeah, of course. Good morning. Good morning. I would say today has big Thursday energy, so I understand getting that one wrong. I'm Liz. I work with Abode. We are a program implementer up in Massachusetts, working on wonderful programs like these. Yeah, if I had to pick one word, the word that I was thinking was resilience. Like you said, Jimmy, there is a lot going on right now at a national level, a federal level. I feel so lucky to work in Massachusetts. An integral part of Abode's work is the partnerships we have with places like the Massachusetts Clean Energy Center and, Mass Save and the city of Boston. And they're just soldiering on, keeping up the good fight. So yeah, I feel really lucky to be working in Massachusetts. And yeah, my word would be resilience.
Let me just jump right in and ask you, and thank you both for your greetings and the context. So we have progress, progress and resilience, which is a very interesting perspective. So Liz, let's just jump right in on the work that you do, and if you could tell me, are there any costs associated? Tell us about the actual programming and things that Abode provides in Massachusetts.
Yeah, absolutely. That is a great question. So with our work on the Home Modernization Navigator and a lot of our other work, we aim to provide a no-cost, super easy-to-use service that can help homeowners, owners of 1 to 4 unit residential buildings, and even renters. So, renters, a lot of the time, they hear these conversations, they think, oh, that's not for me, I don't own my home, but no, we want to talk to you too. So yeah, the Navigator is a no-cost, easy-to-use service supporting those communities, renters, homeowners, rental property owners, and we want to help them better understand potential for energy saving upgrades, electrification opportunities, and available incentives or rebates or funding they can get back for these type of projects. So the Navigator service is designed to provide one-on-one, super customer-focused support that helps residents across Massachusetts move from initial questions they might have, or even just curiosity, to practical and actionable next steps.
Elizabeth, let me ask you about the work that the Mass CEC does as well. If you could just give us a little purview there. And Liz, what this is Elizabeth, Liz. Liz, we'll come back to you in just a couple of seconds to go a little bit deeper into the work of Abode. But Elizabeth, if you can tell us about the Mass CEC, that would be great as well.
Yeah, so at Mass CEC, we are an economic development agency specifically focused on the clean energy and climate tech industry. And so we are really focused on how can we help people access clean energy? How can we create good paying jobs in this space? How can we develop infrastructure in the state to allow for more clean energy? So we do a wide variety of work. My work specifically is focused on community engagement and equity focused programs. And so a lot of what I do is thinking about how can we address some of the barriers that residents in Massachusetts have to being able to access these different incentives and programs. And so for this particular program, the idea behind it, we partnered with our state partners at the Massachusetts Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs. And, through lots of conversations, we just kept coming back to the idea that decarbonizing and modernizing your home is really challenging. It's challenging for those of us who work in the space. And so for somebody who is not living and breathing energy, the energy industry, how can we simplify the process and make it much easier for people to understand how to increase energy affordability, how to access all of the different incentives that are out there, and how to help advise them and come up with a plan so that they can move through the process in a much more streamlined manner. And so that's exactly what the Navigator program is aimed to do, is really provide a concierge service to people so they have a single individual that they can call up on the phone and say, I have a question, what's my next step? Can you help me through it?
I want to ask you, and both of you can give input into this. There are challenging times. We understand that a lot of times when it comes to communities of color, or if you speak a different language, that presents even more of a challenge. And so kind of an off the cuff question, but Liz, I'll ask you to respond first. And then Elizabeth, how important or how are you all using your expertise to reach those communities? And if you could just tell me from your own words why it's important for communities of color to pay attention to this, because it's a cost factor. And there's just, Elizabeth, as I told you, when you were talking, a lot of things were going through my head. And so I want to ask both of you just why and how you all address that. Elizabeth, you mentioned some phone calls. So Liz, I put a lot in that question to you, but
Yeah.
why is it, she said, yeah. Why is it important? Why is it that everyone pay attention to this? But there's a specific desire today that you all wanted to make sure that communities of color were aware of everyone, but specifically, communities of color. Why? And then how do you do that? And with that, the language that, different languages that come up, how do you and the Navigator support those people that Elizabeth just mentioned?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really great question. And I want to actually go back to kind of how I got my start in this
Please
industry.
tell us. The folks love a story. So please tell us a little bit of your story.
Yeah, so I'm going to age myself a little bit here, unfortunately, as I was thinking about this. About 10 years ago, I got my start in this industry of, building science, energy efficiency, energy savings, doing home energy audits. So going into people's homes, doing diagnostic testing, even helping them air seal or weatherize their home. And in doing that, I got to speak to so many people every day. I was in a new home, speaking to a new, homeowner or resident or renter or property owner. And just their stories really struck me. And of course, cost savings is the big one that I think is top of mind and people talk about. And that's certainly something that we focus on. But there's additional benefits too that aren't as talked about. I would say indoor air quality, for one. I would talk to residents who, their kids had asthma, and then we'd go down and see that they had a dirt basement, and we could talk to them about opportunities to, put up a vapor barrier, make that a little bit better and better for the air quality. Comfort as well. I talked to a lot of residents, a lot of older residents who just didn't feel comfortable in their homes. And so, yeah, just getting to hear from so many people who had a multitude of different reasons for being interested in programs like this and being able to benefit from something like this was super valuable to me. And yeah, a huge part of the Navigator mission and Abode's mission as well is just making sure that we're bringing everyone along in this, energy saving decarbonization journey. We don't want anyone to be left behind. So our audiences that we really want to speak to, like you said, Jimmy, are those environmental justice communities. Language other than English speakers, that's a big one. So the Navigator service offers direct support in Spanish, Portuguese, and Khmer, and English, of course. But you can call into the Navigator and you can get someone who's going to do a full consultation with you in Spanish, for example. And in terms of reaching these populations, we partner with two really, really great outreach and marketing firms, All in Energy and ASG. And they have really great ties to the community, relationships with the cities, relationships with community-based organizations. So they've really been able to kind of get out there and talk to residents and build up those relationships.
I definitely appreciate that. What did you, there was a term you said that you kind of aged yourself a little bit. And I just, look, that's my age showing. I forgot it a little bit, but I remember my sister, unfortunately, I don't know if you remember some years ago, there was this kind of like epidemic where children were falling out of windows, and my nephew fell, and that caused, folks to come in and just make sure everything was safe. And I remember, I've also had the folks come in and like navigate around light bulbs and things like that. So I'm definitely, thank you, for that work. So I presume in that work, you've seen a lot of the barriers and different things that has happened. So that informs your work there. And I'm glad to, see you apply that. Elizabeth, if I could ask you for your input as well. You can talk about the Navigator, but you can also, if you don't mind, just, at the Mass CEC, with this collaboration, how are you all making sure that this information is out there? And then also, let's get into the nitty gritty of who can take advantage of these services.
Yeah, absolutely. So for the Navigator program, this is a pilot program, and the intention behind it was really to work with a handful of communities to not only help the residents and the landlords in those communities, but also to gather as many lessons learned as possible so that we could use that to influence both Mass CEC's future programming, but also our state partners and partners like Mass Save, who are working in these communities day in and day out. And so right now the program is running in Springfield, Lowell, Lynn, Chelsea, Framingham, and is coming soon to Taunton. So those are the 6 communities that residents are eligible to participate. But again, the idea is really to help renters. Everyone should be able to access the benefits, not only of clean energy, which I know we've talked a lot about that, and modernizing buildings, but also helping to navigate incentives around access to electric vehicles or e-bikes, or even things like electric lawn equipment, or things that can help with air quality and quality of life as well. So I think the idea is to really take these lessons and help inform other programming to make the process for everybody across the state easier going forward.
If I can ask you, Liz, how does this access around being able to place a phone call, as Elizabeth mentioned, do you all do video calls as well?
Yeah, so we encourage people to join us via a virtual video call, usually over Teams. The benefit to that is, face-to-face conversation, I think super valuable, but even more so, some of the things that we talk about can get a little bit technical. Our advising team specializes in, and for them, it's really important to take some of these more technical things and simplify them. Part of that can be showing visual resources or, sharing screen and walking through a website if we're trying to help you navigate the next step in a process. So we do encourage virtual video calls, but we want to meet people where they're at. We want to talk to you. We want to help you. So we support our customers through phone call, video call, like I mentioned, even community office hours. So in those communities that Elizabeth mentioned, All In Energy is in the community doing office hours, can meet with you in person in the community, sometimes at your local library, and walk you through your energy bill and next steps there in person. But yeah, the goal is really to make the process feel super clear, very manageable, and tailored to each resident's situation. When I went into, homes doing the home energy audits, one thing I realized is everyone is in a different situation. Every home is different. And so, yeah, whether you're starting with a high energy bill and you just want someone to take a look and make recommendations, or if you're experiencing discomfort in your home, you just have general questions about what programs might be available to you, we can chat via phone, we can have a video call, or you can stop by our community office hours.
Or if you could go a little bit deeper, what are the other type of questions that are asked? And it's interesting because you mentioned a high energy bill, but as Elizabeth was talking, there is an improved health impact in this work. You mentioned your work when you would do the audits with young people, with young and older, not younger people, having asthma and things like that. And so cost is definitely a factor. But Elizabeth, I'm going to come back to you in a second and just ask you to do a little bit about, there is a health benefit of taking advantage of your services. That is also potentially generational, because homes become generational wealth. So you can affect the wealth of your next generations if you take advantage of these supports. And so what are some other questions, Liz, that have come up? You say that the face-to-face is very important. I just want to maybe make the point that in those calls, are people able to ask any and everything that have to do with home modernization and the resources?
People can ask anything and everything. We do have sometimes some questions about, like maybe they have a damaged fence that needs fixing, which is slightly outside of the scope of the program. But to the best of our ability, we'll try to set anyone up with any, additional resource in those communities. Like I said, we have really, really strong relationships in Lowell, Springfield, Chelsea, Framingham, Lynn, Covington, and Taunton. So we're able to rely on those relationships when maybe a question is not necessarily in the wheelhouse of our team. But yeah, like I said, a lot of questions around energy bills. We get a lot of questions about windows a lot. I think, like you mentioned, Jimmy, in these populations that we're looking at, these environmental justice communities, language other than English speakers, these communities that we are looking to give the most aid to, they typically live in older buildings, and older buildings come with a whole host of problems. So people want to talk to us because their heating or cooling system is failing, and they want to know what options are out there to replace them. We'll cover anything you want to talk about. We'll do our best to get you answers, and if we can't, we'll definitely point you to who can.
We're going to come back in a second to you, Liz, and talk about your affiliation with some Boston programs. Because as you all were naming the cities, I feel the energy. What about Boston? And we understand this is also a pilot as well. So maybe, hopefully it'll extend to, but there are relationships here that you have in Boston that we can point folks to. Elizabeth, if I could ask you, beyond the Navigator, what other things does Mass CEC do? As I'm listening to you, I hear advocacy, I hear activism, I hear familiarity with the field. Tell us a lot more, or tell us the other things that the Mass CEC does as well.
Yeah, we the elevator pitch is a little bit long, but I think around equity and environmental justice. We do have other programs. For instance, there's one called Empower Massachusetts, which is focused specifically on partnering with nonprofits and local community-based organizations to work within communities, within these with these populations around education, around energy coaching. A variety of different things. We also have a workforce development group that is funding all sorts of programs to increase access to training programs to get jobs in the clean energy industry, or supporting women or minority-owned businesses that want to participate in this industry. We also support clean energy and climate tech startups, and our equity work extends into helping ensure that a diverse range of individuals can participate and get access to resources to help bring their innovative ideas to fruition. So our work spans sort of a wide range in the industry, but in all of our program, we have a very intentional lens of how can we ensure equity in this space, because it will take all of us to continue advancing Massachusetts, and also we all should have access to the benefits.
Elizabeth, and Liz too, I love your energy, but Elizabeth, I can also see that I can see the advocacy that when the camera goes off, the work that you're doing. So we definitely need that. I will go ahead and say again, we've named the cities that you're working in right now. And so Liz, we would be remiss if we did not share any affiliations or any access that maybe people in Boston proper may want to have access to. And I'll go ahead and ask this. If someone reaches out to you all, and I just want to acknowledge for those of you that are watching, there is a hyperlink. You can either when you finish Java, you can do it now. Click the link and go take advantage of the services. And I will also, we're showing it now for those of you to take screenshots of services. I'll put this flyer on my page as well for you all to take advantage of the resources, but the information is there. So take advantage of that. And we'll also talk about how folks in these cities can specifically take advantage as well. And so Liz, if I could ask you, what are some resources, some pointing to for folks that are in Boston?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a very similar program in Boston. And I know, Jimmy, that Mayor Wu is a fan of Java with Jimmy and that you've talked to her in the past. She has championed this program. It's called Boston Energy Saver.
Yes. Yep.
Yes. Yeah. So Abode plays a much smaller, more behind the scenes role on that program. So I don't want to speak for them too much. But that is just a great service for Boston residents where they can call in with very similar questions. And depending on how technical they get, they might get navigated over to my team. But yeah, the city of Boston has a great team who will pick up the phone when you call their phone line, or we'll answer your questions and walk you through the process.
Thank you for this. So for those of you that, what about Boston? There is a link to the Saver program. You all remember a couple of years ago, we had a former chief of environment. I forgot what her title was, but Mariama White Hammond, which I'm sure you all, both of you know that name. She came on and talked about that. So for Bostonians, there it is. There's the resource. Also, if you all call in and take part, I'm sure that if there's data that they can present that there is an Ask in Boston in this pilot period, that might help. Elizabeth, you look like you want to add something there. I see the hand.
Raising my hand. Yes, the other resource that I do want to make sure I mention is Mass CEC. We also have a website called Clean Energy Lives Here. And that is a resource that is available to everyone in the state. It's an informational resource that really can help people learn more about the opportunities, help them sort of see what contractors are working in this space, what incentives are available, things like that. And we did also recently expand the website to include incentives for, information and incentives available to renters. And so that, while that is, you don't have sort of the concierge service that is included in the Navigator program. Clean Energy Lives Here is a wealth of resources that is available for everyone if they are outside of those communities.
All right. I'm not sure if I was trying to get the link to Clean Energy and it looked like it may have given me something different because the page link is long and it'll cut me off here, but I'll figure out a way to share these resources. So right now, folks, in the comments, 3 resources for you to click into or to share with homeowners. And you also just heard Elizabeth refer to the fact that there are some resources for renters as well. So I want to make sure that you all remember that they are hyperlinked right here in the comments here. So now that we covered Boston, let's go in for the folks that are out in, and let me get this right. Lowell, Springfield, Chelsea, Taunton. Hold on, I got to look. Framingham. How do folks in those areas take advantage of you? Some would say, Jimmy, you showed the website, go to the website. But I want to ask, how do folks take advantage of these services that are in the initial pilot towns? That would be Liz.
Yeah, absolutely. So like you said, Jimmy, you can head on over to the website. There's a couple different ways that you can get involved depending on what type of questions you have to start with. If you're in more of kind of I'm just interested in what might be out there or what options I have, you can call that phone number and they'll talk you through kind of next steps and see where you might be best fit. Or if you have a ongoing home project, that your heating system is at its end of life and you might be interested in heat pumps or replacing that heating system or a cooling system, you can schedule a technical consultation straight with Abode. And like we said, I think this has come across, hopefully, but this is a service for everyone. If you're a renter, if you're a landlord, if your primary language is a language other than English, this is still for you. Go to the website, schedule an appointment, have us call you, call us. We're ready to answer your questions.
I really, just with what you said there, the importance of, can we still say this word, inclusive? When you said everyone, that you all exude like a real passion about this. I think it's important. There are a lot of renters in Boston, and there are also a lot of homeowners. And within communities of color, Elizabeth, when you talked a few minutes ago about there are health benefits from taking advantage of these resources. And so I just want to make sure one of our goals is to bring information to the community. And this is key. This is really, really key. This winter, it will reduce your energy costs, but it'll also potentially reduce medical costs, because if you're addressing this, you will be healthier. So Elizabeth, you can see you got me, Elizabeth and Liz, you both kind of got me started a little bit. So we're a little bit over time. That's because this is some good information. So hopefully I haven't made you late for any meetings. We're going to get ready to wrap up. And so Liz, I'll ask you if there are any, closing remarks, anything you just wanted to reiterate about Abode and also the collaboration. And then Elizabeth will have you close us out with the final word.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, like I said, our state community partners are such an integral part of Abode. We love working with the Massachusetts Clean Energy Center on a program like Navigator. It's just so rewarding to get to work with these residents. And yeah, if you're looking to lower your energy bills, improve comfort, or just better understand available incentives, programs, this service is intended to make that path more accessible and easier to navigate. You don't have to do it alone. If you wanna connect with us, you can call 844-CLEAN-95. So that's CLEAN, or you can visit that link there. A shorter version is just navigatecleanenergy.com.
Awesome. And Liz, right now in real time, I asked you if folks, what kind of questions you get, and if folks can ask questions. We have one question here, a serious question. And she fixed it in the next comment, the typo, does the heating company or this company also provide or do any work with tankless systems in the Navigator with either folks that you've worked with, presumably, or is there tankless system advisors if a landlord or homeowner is considering that? I believe that's some of the context that which Dean is asking.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So the Navigator service is really meant to kind of walk you through a myriad of available incentive service programs. But certainly whatever type of system that you're interested in, we can take a look. We'll ask you questions about your home, your existing system, kind of what you're looking for. And then, we'll identify kind of the right resource, the next steps that you can go to. And we can talk about tankless systems, ducted systems, split systems, all of it.
Why did you just get excited there? You were like tankless systems, like what I also just heard there was the client or customer may want something, but what I heard from you there is you're going to ask clarifying questions to make sure that their want is actually meeting their need based on the construction of the home. Does the tankless work? So the comprehensive sort of intake and approach that you all employ is definitely amazing. All right, I'm getting excited here. And that'll leave us on here another 10 minutes. Elizabeth, you had the final word. Please let us know if we missed anything or if there's anything you wanted to reiterate about the collaboration and the Navigator, and I'll be sure to let you all go.
Yeah. So I guess my closing remarks would be, even if you are unsure about what you could possibly do, or it feels daunting to think about doing something major in your home, a major upgrade, or you're a renter and you think, I don't really have any control over what is happening in my home. I would encourage everyone, if they are interested, to reach out, because there are a lot of opportunities for different folks out there. For example, if you're a renter, our partners All in Energy, they can do something that's called an energy bill checkup, which is work with residents. Maybe you are eligible to get onto a low income rate code, for instance, with the utility and take advantage of lower electricity rates. Maybe you're, many folks have signed up with what we call competitive energy suppliers that possibly the contracts aren't that great anymore, and they could benefit from switching to a community energy aggregation. And so there are lots of things that people can do with the help of our partners to lower their energy costs. without before having to touch anything in the home. And then they're, you know, beyond that, the next step is really to do, you know, do things that are going to make the home more comfortable. And we do engage with landlords too. So we encourage tenants to try and get their landlords to reach out to us, because we do offer opportunities for them as well. So I just want to reiterate, everyone in these communities are eligible. So, and it's a no cost service. So there's no harm in finding out what you might be what you might be able to do.
Well, there's no harm in asking, and see, you got me started. There's no harm in asking questions, as Liz said, but then one of the questions being, is this resource available to me? Do I have access to that? You know what I mean? And so I really appreciate both of you being here. I'm sorry for going over time a little bit, but this is important information for those that are in the pilot cities, but definitely for the connections that we're sharing here for the Boston folks as well. I just say that because a lot of my, you know, audience is in Boston, but they have family members. And, you know, there's a lot of jokes about people migrating to a couple of towns as well. So if you're going there and you're buying a home, you might want to, if you're there and have a home, you might want to reach out to this group. So we just want to make sure, again, that you have the information, that you know that you can go to, you can visit navigatecleanenergy.com or call 844-253-2695 to take advantage of these services. Elizabeth and Liz, thank you. And shout out to ASG. You said it, Liz, you know, a great community engagement partner. They have been a partner with me from the beginning. And so I'm glad that they were able to bring us together as you all develop things. And, you know, when you all get ready to make that expansion into Boston, make sure we know, and we'll make sure we share the share the information. But seriously, thank both of you for being here, and please keep in touch.
Yeah. Thank you, Jimmy.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having us.
Have a good day, both of you.
You too.
Listen, folks, I hope you're going to go and take advantage of this service, or also pass it on to maybe some family members that are in Lowell, Springfield, Chelsea, Framingham, Lynn, and Taunton. And then also Liz shared the information. And if you remember a couple of years ago, just over a year ago, maybe, Mariama White Hammond came as she was the chief energy person for the city of Boston. So on a little bit earlier today, a different type of resource or information. But again, we want to make sure that we bring all type of information to our community. Now, I have to make a decision if I'm going to come back at 10 o'clock. I doubt it. So we'll just wrap this up now. The 10 o'clock hour for those that jump on at 10 o'clock. That is it for us actually this week. Tomorrow, don't forget, we will not be here at 10 a.m. We will be at WGBH for GBH Amplifies James Jimmy Hills, host of Java with Jimmy. Tomorrow, we are speaking with Victor Ortiz, and also Ben, and his last name escapes me right now, but we're talking about another resource and service. You remember some years ago, gambling was licensed or approved here in Massachusetts. We have the casinos. Now we have things like Parlay, DraftKings, online, sort of gaming, and it can become addictive. And addiction and gambling look like it used to, or you see in the movies, blackjack table and things like that. On your phone, spending $3, $5, 6-7 times a week. Do that every month. So we're going to talk about services that are available before people get to a point of being addicted. I know it's entertaining for some, but we're going to talk about that with GBH at GBH tomorrow with PH. tomorrow. So please plan to join us at 12:30 tomorrow. Dina, I'm not sure. They did. Oh, she said that I did Mass Save before, but they didn't have anything for me because my home is newer. They did provide the light bulbs. And I've at times have had them come. There was one time I had to apply for heating assistance. And when I got the heating assistance, they said, hey, also, we're going to have someone come and assess your home so you can save money. So it is those type of resources and services we should take advantage of. And I'll go ahead and say it. We are paying attention and need to continue to pay attention to things like climate justice, climate change, and things like that. We are in a coastal city. We'll talk more about that next Wednesday with the Waterfront Coalition. We're returning to Waterfront Wednesdays as of next Wednesday, the second Wednesday of April, June, I think September, and maybe October, similar to last year. So, all right, that's it. We'll see you all tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. for GBH Amplifies. James Jimmy Hills, host of Java with Jimmy, with our guest from Department of Public Health. All right. Thank you all for being here, and we'll talk soon.